All right, welcome to another edition of what we like to call HoopsU. I'm Andy Katz, my partner, my colleague, my co-host, Rapheal Davis, and we're pleased to be joined by Steve Pikiell, head coach from Rutgers. And Steve, I said this before you left. I thought you guys took probably the most unique trip that I've seen in a long time in going to Senegal and West Africa before you went to Portugal. Just an amazing trip in terms of the itinerary, what I saw on the front end. But now I want to hear from you. What was it like in terms of the entire experience of what you saw and did in Senegal?
Oh, well, I will tell you, it was a very interesting trip. It starts off, it's hard, to get to Africa. Not a lot of teams do it because you start a month early with shots. So you got to get your yellow fever shots, and you got to get your all kinds of your malaria pills. You got to get everything, to kind of keep your team safe. So you lose a few people on that journey, and you actually find out a little bit about your team toughness wise. It's a little neat. Let's go. You got to go play at Purdue and Mackey. You got to go play. You better be able to take this slow pain. So we survived that, and we flew right into Dakar. Unbelievable experience. Such great people. But I think it more teaches you lessons about, being appreciative. I mean, it really did. We worked out the first night we were there. There's no Gold's gyms. There's no, all the things that we have in our weight room downstairs. It's basically on the beach, and they'll bury a tire in the beach, and you do sit-ups and push-ups off of a tire, and you run up and down the beach. They actually put people on your back. You do your squats with the body weight of somebody else. I just left the 4 days there, and I say, these people are just awesome. They just figure it out. They don't have all the tools we have. They don't have all the toys we have, but yet they're in shape, and they work out, and they're happy. No phones, Andy. I think that was a huge thing for me. I said, there's no phones here. They actually talk to each other, and they run, they enjoy the beach, that kind of thing. So that was kind of refreshing, but we did clinics there. We saw a lot. We went to a safari. Unbelievable to drive down, and see a giraffe and see a rhinoceros and those kind of things, right in front of you. So it was just a great experience for our team. But most importantly, I think we learned a lot. Goree Island, learned a lot about history, and learned a lot about people, and just very thankful. Came back with a new approach and a new way of looking at my tap water at my house, and electricity and what have you.
And if I can follow up real quick, Rapheal, Cliff Omori obviously is from Western Africa. He's from Nigeria, and obviously, a few countries away. And for those who aren't familiar with their geography of West Africa, but he is African. What was the impetus of doing this trip? And I'm curious just where he was in terms of consulting with him about, hey, I want to go to West Africa.
The interesting part is, I've recruited Africa for 30 years. So I know a lot of people and recruited kids from Nigeria. And we have 2 Sudanese players, 2 on the team. Mali, one of our players from last year is from Mali, and South Africa. So it's been a place I've always wanted to go. One of my assistant coaches took a trip about 10 years ago to Dakar when he was the head coach at Dowling, a Division II school. And Steve Hain, and he knew people there. And I knew some people from Stony Brook that lived in Dakar. So when we started the conversation, where do we want to go? And then we looked at, easy direct flights, which obviously from JFK in New York, you can get to a lot of places. And we knew people there. And we had Issa Cham, one of our former players from Senegal. We actually saw him on the trip. So we talked to people, and we thought, well, experience, history, appreciation, because I really think in college basketball now we've kind of lost some appreciation for what we do have. And so I wanted to do that, and I wanted to bring that experience to my team. And, obviously all the players I have, Mawat Mag and Cliff, we, asked them about their experiences, and, they were excited to go back, but I think a lot of our Americans were just really excited to go to Africa. And, it was a tremendous experience. Some of the great people, that I met, and I would highly recommend it. Aside for the shots and everything, I would highly recommend the rest of it.
I know the type of bonding you get as a teammate on that type of trip when you're with your guys, especially when practice is over, when you don't have a game that night, you go hang out when the coaches go to sleep. But on the court, preparing for this trip, and even while you're out there playing, what are some of the things that you hope to see from the guys, or some things that you saw, or anybody that you were impressed with coming away from it?
Well, you know what you really see, like, you know, we have a few new guys on the roster. You got your regular freshmen, and then you have your guys that you got in the transfer portal. And then you see some of your younger players that are now sophomores and juniors, how they've grown, the maturity. You start seeing different traits. Who's a leader? Who's hanging out with who? You know, who's following who? You know, to the different events. We rode camels one day, so you know, we're all lined up. Who gets on the camel first was Cliff gets on a 7-footer on a camel. And then we have another Nigerian player, Emmanuel. He's 7'1" and he's huge. Those are the first two guys up on the camel. And I think some of the other guys are like, I don't really know if I want to go or not. But because those two guys jumped on, you know, they soon, you know, jumped on and followed. So you see some leadership qualities. You see, you know, some characteristics of the guys that I think, you know, bodes well on the court, some of their traits, who's aggressive, you know, who's tough, who's not afraid to, you know, try different things. And, you know, me as a coach, I just enjoy seeing them in different environments. And I try to, we did a kayak trip and, you know, they haven't been in kayaks, you know, like it was amazing, like, you know, that. And sometimes you take those things for granted, even swimming. Like I learned how to swim when I was, you know, 5 years old. Like some of them don't know how to swim. I'm like, we got to get some swimming lessons because you're missing out on a lot here, you know? So we're going to have swimming lessons for some of our guys. I was living with them and they don't know how to swim. I say, we stay in some of the nicest hotels with some of the nicest pools and these guys can't swim. Like it's got to be a bad feeling. You know, so you learn a lot about your team. And then we played some good basketball too. And this team's good. I like this team a lot. And I know on paper we lose every year. We lose guys. What we do here is players get better. And Derek Simpson's better. He's going to have a good year for us, you know. And Antoine Wolfalk is probably the most improved player in our program. He's going to have a great year. He's a sophomore now from Cleveland. You know, he's going to be good. We redshirted a guy, Chol, last year. So our freshman class, we had 3 freshmen. And boy, if you saw them as sophomores, big difference. So, you know, you see that part of it too. So, you know, you're excited about their development on and off the court.
It's been kind of a crazy year, as you know. I mean, off season, I should say. Players going in and out. And even someone like Oscar out, back in. You know, Mag, obviously, I hope is healthy. I don't know. You can help us, tell us where he is. And then you personally, recruiting wise, this year, that was your second overseas trip this year, because you were over in FIBA watching. That was earlier in the summer, back, and you were one of the few head coaches that was way over there. I think I'm trying to remember what country you were in. Where? Hungary, right? Hungary, yeah. So Eastern Europe, and then you're back, and then now you're in Africa, and then Portugal. I mean, just put in perspective what this whole last 5 months have been like.
Put it this way, since the season ended, not a lot of sleep, but I like exciting. And now college basketball is exciting every day of the year. And, you know, the season ended and, you know, you deal with what everyone's kind of dealing with. It's a new world out there. You know, you have 1-year deals with guys and that's, you know, you try to make it a great experience for them. I'm very thankful for the kids that stayed. And I'm very thankful for the ones that, you know, in the job that the ones that left, they were awesome for our program and they have moved on. But it's just a new world. And I'm excited about our freshmen that we brought in. And I think every offseason now, you know, with the way the rules are set up and everything like that, this is going to be the new norm. No rest, no sleep, no vacations, a lot of traveling and you keep on grinding. That's what we do well here at Rutgers.
So give me an update on Mag.
He's doing great. I mean, he's above, you know, his rehab schedule. I couldn't be more proud of him. I mean, he's as good a worker with rehab, never misses an appointment. And he's actually shooting and doing things. He's home right now in Australia, which is good. So he gets a little break in the action. But I'm really excited. He's come a long way. And, you know, he's out there doing a lot of drills. He can do everything non-contact right now. And when he gets back, he'll get assessed as long as there's no road, you know, speed bumps in the way here. He's projecting to be back, and I think he's the best defender in the Big Ten now that Caleb McConnell left, and we need him to be that for us.
What does a player like Mag mean? Because a lot of fans or a lot of people out there, they may look at the who averages what, who can get how many rebounds, but what is a guy like? Because I was similar to that player on the team. What does he mean to your program? And obviously, you guys took a dip when he went down. So, kind of talk about that.
Yeah, and he was really having a great year, and he was like, he was headed into an unbelievable direction. He was scoring more at the end there. He was getting more and more comfortable. And, he played behind Ron Harper for a couple of years, and not an easy position to be in. But a guy like Mawat, I mean, first of all, he's the ultimate teammate. He'll do whatever needs to be done. He's a very good rebounder. He can guard multiple positions, the 1 through the 4 spot. And, when you have a guy like that, everyone, and you guys have been around it a long time, but everyone just stats. Well, I always use this stat, okay? If the leading scorer averages 20 and you hold them to 10, and now if we add that 10 points to your 8 points, now you average 18 points a game. No one else looks at it that way because it's not how it works in the world. But in the world of basketball, it does work that way. And 50% of the game is that end of the floor. So when you have an elite defender, they can change games. He's an ultimate energy guy. He's a full court. He deflects. He makes, plays that other players can't make. And, when he went down last year, he went down at a tough time too, because there weren't a lot of practices. And then we were right in the middle of, playing game after game after game. So now you're trying to figure out your lineup while you're traveling and while you have no practice time and all that kind of thing. And, it's hard to replace a veteran guy like him who has been through, the wars, but he's an awesome kid and he's rehabbing the heck out of it. And he's as eager to get back on the court as anybody. And we got guys around him. Like you said, Oscar was really good last year, last 6 games of the season for us. Like he's good. And he's a veteran guy. To have him back. We have good leadership, and Cliff is experienced. Andre Hyatt was our leading scorer on that tour and was played great. And, Mawat Mag's a veteran. Oscar's a veteran. Our freshman from last year, Derek spent a lot of time on the court and started games. And now we added Noah Fernandez from, UMass, who's a good player. And Gavin Griffiths, the player of the year in Connecticut, can play anywhere. And so it's it's an exciting group. It's a group that can really shoot the ball, and we're very athletic. So we went from being okay athletically to being very athletic.
And you guys shot a lot of, like you said, you guys could shoot the ball. You guys shot a lot of threes when you guys were on your trip, and you guys made a bunch of them, especially with your freshman coming in, Griffiths. He can really shoot the basketball. Is that by design this season to get more threes up, to play a little bit faster with because the makeup you guys have now?
Yeah, you know what? I think every year I try to just do a great job with what I have and figuring out the style. And everyone wants to run. That's what everybody says. But, I say to people, when you have CJ Geddes as your starting center, when he weighed 275 pounds, it's great. Everyone run. Okay. Are we going to beat Michigan State up and down the floor with that? Find a way to win. This year's group, though, I mean, we can shoot. And we have multiple guys. In the past, we've had a couple guys. We have multiple guys that can shoot the ball. We have great size and length, but we have guys that are willing to pass the ball, to those guys too. And Cliff now is going to have some space around the basket, which I really like, with this group. And again, Andre Hyatt was on the trip, and he and Gavin Griffiths as good of wings, as they have. And then we get Mawat Mag back, and I like our guards in the backcourt. And, it's like anything. We got to stay healthy, knock on wood. We got to stay healthy. And you know how good the league is. And we've added 4 more teams, I guess, now. So we made a really good league even better.
So to that point, Steve, you guys are in demand in your region. I'm just curious, you added this game with Princeton and Trenton. You've got the Seton Hall rivalry. As we go forward here, we don't know, is it going to stay 20 games? Is it not going to stay 20? It's certainly not going to go down. We know that. How do you balance these non-conference games with this demand, especially in your state, to play you guys?
Well, Andy, one thing, I like to play games at Jersey Mike's Arena, but it's getting harder to schedule games at Jersey Mike's Arena. I will tell you that. I used to get 100 calls a week. It doesn't ring like that anymore. And so I'd love to play all of our games there, but now playing in neutral sites has become a better option for us for, some different games. Every year scheduling, it's never easy. People think you just pick up the phone and make calls. It's dates, it's other games, it's finals exams, like schedules. It's we got to save blocks for our ACC challenge and for all these other challenges. So scheduling's
Well, that went away.
Yeah, like it's one of the toughest things to do. So I think eventually we're gonna just play all league games. So if we keep expanding, we got 20 teams in the league or 18, whatever we're gonna play everyone, and I'll have to schedule Seton Hall once, and that'll be it. That'll be the end of it.
What has it been like for you seeing the transition in Jersey Mike's Arena? Because I can remember, it wasn't that long ago when I played out there, and when we played, it was the era before you, and it felt like we were playing a bad high school game with the crowd that we had in a sense. And now you go out there and I call a game, I can't hear my partner sometimes during the game. So what has that been like, and what has went into that, and what does that mean to you that you've been able to get Jersey Mike's to really one of the best home court advantages in the league?
Well, I will tell you, the people here, our students, have come out, and I think a lot of it's the way our players play and how they are in the community. They're very involved. They get out. But we've had success too there, and we've played exciting basketball, I think. And, unfortunately for a coach, it's not always good for my heart, but we play a lot of close games too. So, it's probably not good for traffic at the end, people leaving, but they got to stay the entire time and, watch. And I think obviously, as you guys know, it's a great league. If you want to come see Tom Izzo in Michigan State, if you want to come see Fran McCaffrey in Iowa, you got to come, it's great basketball in a basketball area. And there will not be our season tickets are completely sold out. So we do not have any tickets available for any games, and that's a really, really good sign for us, moving forward. And I'm hoping, again, we're going to put out another, really good basketball team that plays tough and hard, and it'd be nice if we could really shoot the ball too. That'd save me a few of those heart attacks.
Steve, hey, one last thing. I know that you can't talk specifics, but how much is it sort of the perfect storm that there's a lot of talent in your sphere, in your region? You guys are consistently good now, and you're in the mix for high-level talent, that the future, the present and the future is looking pretty good at a time when the league, as you said, is expanding, and Rutgers is going to be in the mix no matter what here for the foreseeable future.
Oh, first, it's a great, it's a great university. We have the top-notch practice facilities now. We sell out every game, so our environment is where it's supposed to be, and I also think we graduate everyone, and players that come here get better. So it doesn't matter what the ranking is. It doesn't matter what people think of them. Players come and get better. And when you see our sophomore class this year, Wolf and Derek, you will say, oh boy, I didn't know. And yeah, they're good. And they got better. And it's a credit to Brandon Knight and to TJ Thompson. And now we have Marlon Williamson. We develop guys get better. And I think people are starting to see the rewards. Caleb McConnell signed with Oklahoma City Thunder a contract. Ron Harper's in the league. Cliff is going to have his opportunity to do that. We got some young guys here that'll be next, and just continue to, graduate guys, treat them the right way, great environment, great university, and those kind of things happen. But they better happen in the Big Ten, because, a lot of places have a lot of great things to offer. And we continue and hope to just be in the mix. And we really want to get the right ones too. I still think it's about the right ones. It's never about location. Caleb McConnell was from Jacksonville, Florida. I'll take 10 of them, he's not from New Jersey, but I love him. If he was right up the street, it would have saved me a lot of time. But, I'll take those kind of guys from anywhere that bring it. Geo Baker was from New Hampshire. I love it. I want people that want to be here, and I want them to enjoy this environment and enjoy playing in the best league in the country.
I think I think that's so important too, Coach, because when you go after guys that kind of fit how you guys want to play, fit the tough mentality. So when they get to campus, it's not a shock to them. They're not wanting to run away from it. And I think so many times coaches could sell that dream or go after that ranking, and that guy gets to campus and it's not a happy situation for either of them. Because like a guy like Derek is the guy I really enjoyed last season, especially as the game kind of got slower for him. He got to slow down. His ability to get downhill to his right hand was special. Like you were saying, he seems like a guy that if he added that piece of a jumper, especially off of a ball screen, I mean, it's no telling how good he could be. But a question I had about a guy coming into this season is about Cliff, because I've been around a lot of guys that they go test the water and they go see what it's like at that level, and they come back, and they either come back motivated or they come back sad. Kind of what has Cliff been like this offseason? Has he tried to – and also some guys try to come back and they try to add something that they shouldn't add because that's what they heard. What has Cliff been like this offseason in that way?
First and foremost, what I could tell you about Cliff is special. Like, he came back to graduate. How refreshing is that in the world that we're living in? He wants to graduate. He's a dean's list student. His family wants him to graduate. So, like, that's the first reason he came back. He tested the waters. He learned a lot. He came back with a little bit of an edge. Had a great tour, is going to be our leader, obviously. I think he's one of the best big guys in the country, top two. I know Zach Edey's coming back too in our league. Cliff does things that no other big guy can do, in the country. And I think, his tour of duty with the NBA, he found out the importance of blocking shots. He found out the importance of rim running and screen coverage defensively. That's what the NBA is. It's a screen, and your bigs are constantly in screen coverage. So I think he appreciates that more after I've been harping on that for 3 years. He heard it from some other people too. And his offensive abilities, he continues to improve in those areas. And now I think we could put him around some space, and I think that's really important, too, for him, because he will get double and triple teamed and all those kind of things. And it'll be a little harder to do that, moving forward. But he's one of the greatest kids in 32 years I've coached. And whenever we think, Coach, I want to graduate, I mean, like that's like number 9 on the list nowadays when you start talking to people. And he'll graduate in December with his degree and could be more proud and it's excited that he's back. Just excited. He's going to have a great year, and he'll be a huge key to our success.
Yeah. Well, Steve, we appreciate you giving us some time here. Rest if you can just a little bit before the grind resets here.
You guys are the best. All right. It's great seeing you. Get me excited. I wish want to start the season right now seeing you guys.
Well, we'll see you soon in Minnesota for Media Day.
There you go. See you guys then. Thanks so much.
All right.
I appreciate it, Coach.
Steve. All right. I've been driving that bus. Here's my quick point, Raphael. I know we're up against the time. I will just say that I thought this was a critical offseason and will be a critical season, because I know they can't talk about Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper. I mean, nothing's set yet, but they could have like a top 5 recruiting class next year. And guys that could be one and done. So like that never happens at Rutgers. So this is like that bridge year, but it's a bridge year where I think they could be a tournament team if these guys improved. And obviously there was a game or two last year that, you look back, that Minnesota game, that they blew that, the home Northwestern to end the season. I mean, they had chances. I mean, I thought they should have been in. I thought they deserved it, but there were reasons to say, those could be reasons not to take them. So they should have a little chip on their shoulder. And the fact that Mag is back, Hyatt's back, Palmquist, who's a role guy, is back. Cliff, of course, is back. I think they've got the pieces.
Yeah. I mean, and you look at last season, and you look at those games down the stretch that they lost, the close ones. You lose those close games, those games that you should win, when everybody's not bought in. And you can see what happened in the offseason, guys leaving and how they left, that everyone just wasn't bought into what Rutgers was trying to do. And now they have guys that seem to be bought in. Like Cliff came back to Rutgers, wanted to be a part of that. I think a guy like Derek Simpson, wasn't talked about a lot last season because you had other freshmen that were really good in the league, but he'll be that sophomore that's going to make a big jump with the ball in his hands. Now he doesn't have to worry about making a mistake and Paul coming back in and take his minutes away a little bit. But then you have a guy like Andre Hyatt, who coach said their leading scorer overseas. I think he's just been waiting to kind of get his turn. And now McConnell's gone, Paul is gone. He's going to have the green light in a sense from the wing. And then with the freshman Griffith, if they can shoot the ball like coach is saying, like they did overseas, and make shots and give Cliff a little bit of space, that five is really solid. At that point, it'll just be about having a few guys be able to produce high level off the bench.
And, you know, with Mulcahy, obviously he was in the portal. He went to Washington, which was kind of a little odd, but, you know, if he wasn't all in back at Rutgers, and look, he did a great job. What he did at the end where he gave, you know, NIL money to the people that worked there, that was tremendous. But if he's, you know, with his guys that he came through, McConnell, Baker, Harper, all gone, if he was going to feel kind of lonely and isolated and needed something fresh, then that's better, you know, better for both parties, because, you know, come December, January, if he's kind of thinking like, maybe I should have tested or gone somewhere else. So maybe it'll work out for both. I just think the big, you know, once Cliff came back, I think that was the game changer.
Yeah, 100%. They needed him to come back. They need Cliff to be, not just be there and be a presence. They need him to be an all-conference guy, not just on the defensive level, but on the offensive level. And they needed him to be consistent offensively every night. They can't have Cliff have 3 or 4 games in a row where he's getting 8 points and 14 rebounds. He needs to be consistently 14 to 18 points, 10, 11 rebounds, 3, 4 blocks. He needs to be in that Trace Jackson Davis, that Zach Edey mode. And then a guy like Derek Simpson, he needs to be at an all Big Ten caliber level, whether if it's first team, second team, third team, what have you. He's got to lead the way, and then they got to have guys make shots. My thing is you got to have a strong point guard, a big man that can score the ball around the basket, and then wings that are athletic, that are big, that can go score the ball at the rim and can make threes. And right now, if you look at their 5, and even if you add Oscar in there as a 6, those guys make shots. They have some I don't like to – a lot of transfers transfer in and transfer out, so you never know how transfers are going to play in their new situation. They're dealing with a lot with one of their transfers right now. So I'm just speaking about the guys I know will play and how they played last season. So I'm really looking forward to Rutgers. They'll go under the radar. But those 3 guys that I'm looking at is Hyatt and Cliff and Derek. If those 3 guys play well, it's going to give those guys a chance every game, and especially in the Big Ten, because they know the grind of it. They're used to it. You get a special freshman to have some special nights. They could be right there in the top 6 of the league.
Yeah. Last thing I'll just say, I know we're up against our clock here. What he was mentioning with the schedule, I'll be really intrigued to see what happens. I think the television networks will dictate there will be more conference games. I don't think it'll be 30, you know, but we're at 20 now. I could definitely see it going to 22, 24. And then you really only got like 6 games to play with. And so if you have a game like for them at Seton Hall, or Nebraska, it's Creighton, you protect that, Milwaukee, Marquette in Wisconsin. And then maybe it's a tournament and one other. Like, I will not be shocked if in a couple of years the networks say, hey, we need inventory, whether that's, you know, in the Big Ten's case, it's BTN, it's Fox, it's NBC, it's CBS. I won't be shocked at all if they increase the number with so many teams. So we'll see. Raphael, another great addition. As everyone check out on our social media platforms, HoopsU, this interview with Steve Pikiell. We've already talked to Mike Rhodes and Ben Johnson and Chris Holtman. So we're running through the league right here.
There we go.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.